Welcome to week 4. Plan on finishing well. We started this 4 weeks ago and we began with John 15 and it talked about abiding in. And if we are continuing to abide in good things, in God, in the vine, in the spring of living water, then good things are going to continue to pour out. And that is key to finishing well. We had talked about our April mini challenge, mini course. We started with figuring out what is your story, find your pace, laugh, cry, get angry. Who cares? And then today we're finishing this off with more than me. In this story, we wanted to really dive into what is your life purpose and hone in on being intentional about writing your story as opposed to letting your life write its own story and you're just along for the ride. We spoke about Ephesians 2:10, that you were designed to do good works. You were designed for them. There are good works to do. It's not that you have to go build them, create them, discover them. They're already there. You just need to walk into them and tap into that. And so we talked about being mindful to what skills and gifts we've been given and where we would have opportunities to use them. We also spoke about really evaluating, do you need to change course or do you just need to get back on track? And what pace are you running at? Is it a healthy pace, a good pace, or do you need to scale that back a bit so that you can finish well, so that you don't burn out, so you don't drop before the finish line? And so really getting in tune with your heart and your best pace for you. We talked about focusing on your main storyline, that it's so easy to burn ourselves out on things that actually aren't even feeding our primary purpose, and to cull the good, to cull the better, and really focus on the best and commit yourself to that core purpose. We spoke about tapping in also to passion. What makes you laugh? What brings joy and life to your heart and your face? Look at your face. See what lights it up. What makes you cry? What taps into empathy, compassion? What ignites that tear response, that passionate, you are emotionally invested response? And angry, what makes you righteously angry? Not bitter, resentful angry, but righteously angry. What inflames your sense of justice? To pay attention to those and to build those in, because they are going to keep you fueled. We also spoke about refiring, not retiring. So rather than think, okay, yeah, we're just going to hone down and limp across and geek across, let's plan to blaze across that finish line, not necessarily at a fast pace, but with an intensity and with that sense of passion and purpose that will just radiate from you. And about overcoming the boundaries and the barriers that might look like stumbling blocks. Don't let them be. Let them just be refining and help you discern where your best focus is. Vision, to really, again, keep that vision in sight. If you start looking at other things, we get distracted, we lose our vision. You start to fire things that are counterproductive. And so to keep that vision and focus and build your team. You can't do this alone. From the Flourishing Tribe, Abe mentioned that great phrase, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Go together, build your together. Don't just drag along whoever happens to be caught in your net. Again, I'm bringing out the intentional word. Customize and choose who you invite to your circle of team. Cultivate, curate, craft. Good words to think of when you're thinking about creating that team to move forward with you. We spoke about having a mentor who's already gone where you're wanting to go to help lead the way and drag you along. We spoke about having somebody in your life that's alongside with you, helping you just deal with the day-to-day, and that person behind you who's coming along in your wake and it's shoving you from behind because they've got the enthusiasm to push you forward. That those are really important people to build into your circle of team. And who cares? Who is caring about what you're caring about? Where is your vision applicable? We spoke about your stakeholders. Who else is in your boat? And are you involving them? Are you engaging them? Are you discipling them? Are you helping them to be the best version of themselves by capitalizing on their gifts and their skills and their talents to work with you? Are you modeling that interwoven journey together? Are you modeling that and engaging them in that? Today, and the final week to wrap it up, more than me. Am I just living and acquiring stuff for myself, or am I building a legacy for more than me? Am I helping use the resources I have to benefit more than me? We don't want to just amass abundance. We want to live abundantly. Living for more than me, more than me here, that is the key to unlock that, living abundantly as opposed to accumulating abundance. In God's word, we read Ecclesiastes and Song of Solomon, Solomon's wisdom. What is the purpose of life? And it can be drilled down to a couple of items here. Matthew 22:37-40. Love God with everything in you and all that you are and all that you have, and love others. Proverbs 16:20 tells us, though that whoso trusts in the Lord, happy is he. I know that happy, that's a good thing. I like happy. I feel excited and I feel purposeful when I'm happy. I want to share happy. So I guess I'd better be mindful about trusting God, because that delivers happy. And happy is good and helpful. Proverbs 29:18, happy is the man who keeps the law. Is that because we're following the rules? Or is that because the law is designed to usher us into happiness? Because it knows the things that will drag down our joy, that will erode our happiness, that will undermine the stability of foundation. Oh, that could very well be, hey? Laws were put in place to help us, to release us to thrive, not to hinder us and contain us. So we want to find out which of those laws are good laws for good reasons, and we want to follow them. John 13:17 says, if you know these things, happy are you if you do them. I love that. It's an if then. If you, then. That's pretty simple. I can work with that economy. We know that, however, man's word says that we see in man's studies and opinions, living for ourselves alone doesn't bring happiness. Ricard A. Hjort writes, don't bother with the deathbed fallacy. Look at happiness research, which tells you a stable income, focus on relationships and experiences rather than stuff, practicing acceptance, and small things like short commute times make you happier. So we know that man's word in social media says, oh, happiness is doing all the things that are right for you and don't worry about anybody else. Happiness is amassing for yourself all the stuff that you want. But we know that even men looking into this have disproven those philosophies. In fact, we see it time and time again with celebrities, with stars. We see it with athletes that are at the top of their game, businessmen who can buy countries. What is your threshold of happiness? U.S. study said approximately a number, I think it was about 5 years ago, said it was about 120,000 U.S. income per year was your threshold of happiness. That meant that up to that, that was about optimum happiness point. And as you went over that, it started to erode happiness in the families that were making and more than that. And again, currency and everything. So take that with the grain of salt that it is. But it tells us this idea that we have discovered that much does not release much joy. right? It's the small things. And you can go to Wikipedia, the research at the wikipedia.org grant study that I link, get a hold of me and I'd be happy to get you there if you can't find it on your own, which supports a lot of these conclusions as well. And so we need to learn from this. We know that both God and man's wisdom agree on this point, and that we need to release a lot of those things that we just kind of have built into us, our natural inclinations, and awaken ourselves to the truth of what actually brings joy and peace and happiness and contentment. And that is not living in isolation. As I watch the show Alone, again, it just hones in time and time again how valuable it is to have a team, how valuable the people in our lives are, that when we have that relationship taken away, we realize how impacting and essential it really is. And so as we help others, we find that we have passion. As we help others, we find that we share joy. As we reach out to others, we find that we have motivation that maybe we can't dig up for ourselves. What legacy are you building? Who are you building it for? So if you have just amassed a bunch of stuff, or if you have painstakingly created a corporation, this massive company, where is the value in it? Because in and of itself, it is not valuable. It is just an entity. So what value does it intrinsically have? Have you built value into it? And who are you building it for? And are you preparing them to receive it? Because if you have spent your life on this legacy, and you have decided, yes, this is the value I've built into it. This is the value it has. This is the person that I want to have it to. Are they going to value it as well the way you did? Are they equipped to manage it and steward it? Because to give this labor of love, of life, to somebody who, number one, may not even value it, but number two, even if they value it, doesn't have the skill set to make the most out of it, well, how heartbreaking is that? And who is it really benefiting then? Was it really benefiting other people? And it could have. It could have. So as we look back at your passion thoughts, let these guide you through your legacy creation. Those things that are fueling you on your journey are the things that will also fuel your legacy that you pass down. And look at your stakeholders. Who are they? And what are their gifts, talents? Oh, I spelled there wrong. Who are they and what are their gifts, talents, and interests? Incorporate these into your legacy transition plan. And if you have a stakeholder that's not interested, that doesn't share your passion, release them. And we can be very creative in how we set up financial structures to do that, because it is heartbreaking to watch children be dragged in and hooked in because they want to share in the wealth of the family. But in a job, a career, a business, a venture that they have no passion for. Well, let's not burden them with that. Let's free them to fly their own journey and engage their own passions and release them to do that, not hold them captive by family wealth or an idea of the position you want them to serve. Because that, again, is not leaving a legacy that has value for the successor. Is not a legacy that is going to continue on. Is not a legacy that's going to be stewarded well. Is not a legacy that's going to bring life to the receiver or to anyone else. So be mindful of your stakeholders. Be mindful of their talents, their gifts, and their interests, and tap into releasing those. Now, if you can incorporate those into your venture, wonderful. If you can't, release them and make accommodation for them. But incorporate these into your legacy transition plan and really be mindful about setting up mentors for them. If you're going to be gone, if you're going to be passing away, not only have you stewarded them and taught them to steward well for the next generation, but that you have gifted them with some mentors to leave behind you to help them journey, because we don't want to leave them alone. We want to help them start to build their own team. Their circle of team needs to have people ushered into that. And you can, again, be mentoring and discipling them in that process. Freedom to fly or hollow dreams. Which would you like to leave? Be aware of your own impact. Are you being a blessing or a curse? What direction are you headed? Are you setting up success and preparing to launch it into the next generation and the generation after that? Are you discipling the recipient to manage it? Will you leave a legacy or fade away? And are you planning to leave a blessing or a curse? Plan for finishing well. It matters to more than me. I hope you enjoyed our mini course. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you missed anything along the way, they're posted. You can go back and review. And please, you are always welcome to call me and let me know how you found the course to be, any questions you have, any help you need in flushing any of these points out. I am available and would love to be invited as part of your journey. So reach out. I can be reached by my phone, by email, on the websites. You can message on Facebook. You can follow on Instagram. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. So I wish you the best of intentions, wisdom in stewardship, and brilliance in transitioning.